11 acres. Gotta fill up seed again. Welcome back to another video, by the way. We're back to planting peanuts. Gotta fill it up with more Virginias. Oh, how much we trust GPS. Isn't it great? "60 acres done." Fill out my front tank again. I always like to reset it, that way I can keep an eye on it, make sure I'm using the right amount of liquid. Back to the field. I'm starting a new field. I'm really loving this sharing thing. Literally all I had to do was just click the field and it's right away connected already and we're good to go. Looks like he's having a bit of issues. You hate to see it. Well, seed tender on that end of the field and this seed tender are pretty much completely out of seed. Now maybe it has like 10 pounds in it. It's like almost empty. But I do believe that that should be enough because both planters barely filled up. I believe that should be enough to finish this field. I already did 52 acres on this field. And if he also did the same thing, we got about close to 20 acres left on this field. And if he does 10, I do 10 acres. I do believe, the way I've been calculating, I can easily do 10 acres with one fill up, so we should have plenty enough seed. Just about done. Getting 240 acres done in one day with 2 planters is pretty easy these days. Back in the day, we were probably struggling to do this many acres in a day, but with planting peanuts, filling up so dang often, every 10 acres you gotta fill up more seed. It's time consuming, but still being able to do 240 acres without even having to really try really hard, that's pretty good. I know when we switch to cotton, then one planter can for sure do like 300 acres in a day. If it can do it 240 by itself if you don't work too late of a day. So it makes a big difference having to fill up so many times. But it's what you got to do when you're planting peanuts. Seeds are so big, so many seeds per acre, it empties them out way too fast. Since we're done planting for now, just gonna cut across this field and head back to the barn. But we're actually done planting now for a few days. The rest of the fields that we want to plant peanuts on, they're not ready yet. They're still pre-watering. Pivots are still going around. We might have to wait till Monday. Might have to wait like 4, maybe 5 days, give or take. So I'm gonna actually tomorrow, I got a different job I need to do. We finished one field with baling, and that field we actually wanted to, well, we did actually, we plowed it, packed it, lamb planed it, and now we're actually going to list up beds on it, and that was all supposed to be put into peanuts, just because of the rotation and how it all worked out. Now we kind of had to do a little bit more work there than what we wanted to, but regardless, that pivot is done watering right now, and tomorrow I'll be able to list it up. It's another 240 acres, and then I guess 4 or 5 days later we'll get back to planting. But tomorrow we're gonna go list up some beds again. And we're back to listing beds. We're trying something a little bit different now. Doesn't look not near as satisfying as when we normally do it, because I got bigger busters on here now. So that means the beds are actually getting, because the busters are bigger, that's the valley in between. So now the beds are a little bit narrower, a little more pointy. Normally we run a rod weeder over it to kill all the weeds right before planting, but now because we're listing this up so late, we don't need to run a rod weeder. So I'm going a little bit shallower with the listing beds, making steeper beds, and hoping that when we plant, it's still going to flatten it out enough to where it's at least lower it down just a little bit. At least that's the goal anyway. It's kind of hard to explain, but once you get with the planter into the field, you should be able to see a little bit more what I'm talking about. But it's still very clumpy, as you can tell. There's a lot of clots everywhere. But that's because we did have weed on here, and there's a lot of roots still in the ground. So it is what it is. It looks pretty good. I think we'll keep rolling like this. Working way better now with those extra tires on there. It's not shaking, not near as much. They definitely do a lot. I would love to add even like another set of tires right here on the main toolbar, not on the wing. Have 2 tires here and on the wing. I would love that, but I don't know how well that would work, but I would love to try it. But we don't have any extra spare tires right now. But still looks pretty good. It does leave a lot of clots, but nothing you can do about it with how much roots there are underneath the ground. Doing the best we can. Making stripes. And of course, it's windy again. So after this, after we're done listing up this whole field, we're actually gonna water one more time over it. We're gonna send it over, water one more time, 1 inch on it. It'll be around next week Tuesday, and then hopefully next week Wednesday we will we'll start planting on this field, and we'll see how it works. We'll see how we like it. Normally we don't plant on these big beds. We'll flatten them out a little bit towards the end. We'll list up big beds to begin with, because regardless, you got to start off at big beds, because then if it ever blows and you need a sand fight, it just works a million times better to sand fight. There's that, and then we make them a little bit smaller with a rod weeder, kill the weeds, any existing weeds that are there, because between listing of beds and planting, there's usually like quite a few weeks, enough time for weeds to sprout up and start growing. So we'll run the rod weeder over it. It's pretty much just like a gigantic rod that just knifes underneath the beds, kills any existing weeds that are there, and at the same time it flattens it out a little bit. Works really, really good, but this should theoretically work just as fine. Well, but we'll see next week. We'll see next week Wednesday, see what it looks like, see if we like it or not. If we don't, then next year we'll have to do the whole two-step process. We really didn't want to do that because that's a lot of extra driving this late in the season when we're already planting peanuts. So if we can avoid an extra step, we'll definitely try to do that, 'cause that's a lot of fuel. That's 240 acres that we don't have to go double back and forth. So we'll see how we like it. Ah, of course. As I'm checking up on it, there's the tip close. Yeah, don't you love to see it? Let's see if I can do this without getting too wet, without putting on my rain suit. Oh wait, that valve is just, never mind, it's not closed. Not closed, just that valve is just open. Wonder, did my brother by any chance, when he turned this pivot on, did he accidentally close it? Come on, there we go. Yeah, we're good to go. Well, I'm gonna let my brother take over for me now. Got a family supper to get to, so he'll end up finishing this field. There's only like another 80 acres left, so like another 2.5 hours, 3 hours max. So not too much longer. He'll get this done, and it'll be ready for peanuts. But as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Oh, and if you're wondering what a rod weeder looks like, this is it. It's just, you got a motor and you got a shaft, which you got the wing, one motor for this wing, cuts off right there, and you got another motor for the middle 8 rows, motor right there, and then another motor right there. Rod just spins, kind of just stirs up the dirt a little bit. You do got sweeps there in the middle, just to kill any existing weeds that are there.